Good morning. It is 9 a.m. on Thursday, May 9th, 2024. I'm calling the City of Findlay City Planning Commission meeting to order. We will start with roll call.
Mayor Murn,
Here.
Mr. Martin,
Here.
Mr. Trombley,
Here.
Ms. Schroeder.
Here.
And Mr. Klinger had informed us he would not be present. Next, swearing in. If anyone that plans to speak for or against an item could please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Okay. Do you affirm that all the testimony and evidence you are about to give in a case before this commission this day will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and will conform to the facts of the case and the rules of this commission? This you affirm under the pains and penalties of perjury. Please say I do.
Very good. You may be seated. I do not believe that we are untabling. Okay, very good. So that will remain tabled, the application for site plan review 06-2024 by Ron Cipher. So moving into new items. Oh, I skipped meeting minutes. So we have the meeting minutes from April 11th, 2024. Were there any corrections? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Now we'll move into new items. Item 1, application for final plat FP-05-2024 filed by G&H Enterprises LLC for the third addition to the Glenmar subdivision. This addition is an extension of the Glenmar Parkway from Andrew Jackson Lane to Smokies Way. CPC staff comments.
Okay, so this request is located between the Andrew Jackson Way and the Smoky Way of the Glenmar subdivision in Liberty Township. It is not located in a 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay Land Use Plan designates the area as single-family large lot. So parcel history, the site is currently vacant, and the preliminary plat was received approval from the Planning Commission in March 2023. So the proposed plat would subdivide this area into 9 new parcels. At the east end of the site, there is an extension of an existing stub of Glenmar Parkway. This would connect Andrew Jackson Lane to Smokies Way. This phase is in keeping with the overall development plan of Glenmar subdivision. So staff recommendation, CPC staff recommends approval of the application for final plat FP 05-2024 filed by G&H Enterprises LLC for the third addition to Glenmar subdivision. This addition is an extension of Glenmar Parkway from Andrew Jackson Lane to Smokies Way.
Engineer Cal was unable to attend today due to a conference. He did note that there are no significant comments on the final plat. He did have a couple of minor comments on the construction plan and that he would work those out with the consultant prior to construction. Fire prevention?
No comment.
So the recommendation before the commission is staff recommends approval of the final plat FP-05-2024 filed by G&H Enterprises LLC for the third addition to the Glenmar subdivision. Discussion. Hello, how are you doing, sir? Appreciate you being here. Can you make sure the button's pushed on there?
Got it.
Thank you. Any comments you would like to add on what was submitted?
Not really. I think Mr. Mercer did a pretty good job of explaining the situation. Jeremy did have a request that I add a couple water valves, and so I've already taken care of that. And I think that was it.
Very good.
I just had a quick question about the roadway names. I think, does the county approve those? Those already been taken care of, or?
I don't know if we had that discussion before or not.
The only reason I ask is because Smokies Way kind of curls around here, and
I do remember in my past life that discussion coming up, but yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's anything that
Our
was-
office handles the addressing, so we can make sure that it.
I didn't know if it was an issue for the county as far as addressing or not. So
No, as
It's
long
not
as
really
the
construction,
as the
so-
numbering is
Yeah.
different. All right. Any other comments from the committee? Was there anyone else here that wanted to speak for or against this item? All right. I will motion to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye when your name is called. Those opposed, nay. For the approval of the final plat, FP-05-2024, filed by G&H Enterprises for the third addition to Glenmark subdivision.
Okay. Mayor Marin,
Aye.
Mr. Martin,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley, Ms. Schroeder.
Aye.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Someday I'm gonna keep track and like look back to see who the fastest review has ever been. But these final plats are typically pretty easy peasy.
Just a quick reminder that, Tony, quick reminder that this will also have to go to Regional Planning Commission once the county approves the construction drawing.
Yes, and I've been working with Kyle, and I think he had relatively minor concerns, so I'm gonna get the revised plans back to him, and then hopefully we can get the subdivision review scheduled.
Sounds good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item number 2, application for conditional use CU-05-2024, filed by Jennifer Hammer for a dog grooming home business at 429 Swing Avenue. CPC staff comments.
So this request is located on the south side of Swing Avenue between Bolton Street and Maury Avenue. This parcel is located in a neighborhood of R3 small lot residential. Located partly within the 100-year floodplain. The City of Findlay Land Use Plan designates the area as single-family small lot. Parcel history: this is a residential home where the applicant has lived since 2001. Staff analysis: the applicant has indicated they would like to operate a dog grooming business as a home occupation. She has been doing dog grooming for several years and wanted a space of her own to conduct her business. She wished to convert some of her front room into a grooming space for the business. The applicant also noted that there is that there can be 2 cars in the driveway, one for the resident and one for the client. While it appears there is room for parking, the city may require additional parking to off-street if this becomes a concern. Staff would add that conditional use permits are revocable and if any issues were to arise in the future. So our staff recommendation: CPC staff recommends approval of application for conditional use CU-05-2024, filed by Jennifer Hammer for a dog grooming business, home business at 429 Swing Avenue, with the following conditions. Make sure that there's the schedule the appointments with gaps in between so that parking doesn't become an issue, and hours of operation between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. And potentially there may need to be some discussion about having some fencing in the rear of the house. I did receive several emails from neighbors with concerns that there is no fencing on site, so if the dogs were to be let out to go to the bathroom, that there was no enclosure for them to go into. So that's something potentially that the board might want to consider.
Very good, thank you. I see no comments from engineering. Fire prevention.
And we just want to make sure they get the proper permits and call for the proper inspections for starting this business.
Very good, thank you. So the recommendation before the commission is staff recommends approval for conditional use CU-05-2024, filed by Jennifer Hammer for a dog grooming home business at 429 Swing Avenue. And staff recommends schedule appointments with gaps in between so parking does not become an issue, and hours of operations between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Can you tell us a little bit about your project and what you're hoping to do?
Okay, well, this front section, that's the left side, is going to be where I'm going to have people come in and operate there. As far as a fencing, I am interested in a fence. The neighbor to the right said that he had proposed a fence, but something about when the alley behind went, you don't no
vacated.
longer use, they awarded me that space, and apparently awarded me space to the side. So when he went to go try to get a fence, they said part of that air conditioner is even on my property, so they weren't sure how you would approve that fencing. So I guess that would be something I need to look into with you guys. My area is a working area. I'm right next to the school and the university, and people are up and moving a lot earlier than 9 a.m. So I was wondering if I could move that time a little bit, and if not, I can conform to that time. But if I could maybe move it to 8, and I'm not usually working till 6. I'm usually done working right about 5:15 area when people are picking up.
So do you want to address this, or I just wanted to know a little more about how the flow of your day is going to look like.
Okay.
Like we use a dog groomer and there is no kennel outside, but they have an area inside to maintain the dogs until the owner
Yeah.
comes and gets them. So I hear the concerns of the residents around you. Just help me understand like what it's going to look like when somebody drops off, or are they going to
Okay.
come back and pick them up? You can have dogs outside.
No, there'll be no dogs outside. Typically, I've owned a dog grooming shop since 1992. We don't typically take dogs out unless they show a need. The owner brings the dog inside and comes back unless they need help in and out of the car. Everybody is in a separate cage if anybody is there more than one at a time. Since I'm going to be working by myself, I'm going to try to kind of do more one-on-one type thing, but nobody does. I don't typically take any dogs outside. I do have an indoor, I don't know if you can see it on that, but there's a section that I have a doggy door. I wouldn't turn anybody's dog loose to that, but if I took anybody's dog out, it would be on a leash, and I would never send anybody's dog out. Even if I had a fenced-in yard, I still would never send anybody's dog out without a leash. It's just, there's too many things that can happen.
So I don't have dogs, so I apologize about questioning you didn't. But when you have a dog grooming business like this, are you taking multiple dogs at a time, being dropped off, and then they're coming and picking them up later, or are you taking one dog,
It-
that dog?
Well, some families have 2 or 3 dogs, so there could be more than one dog at a time. Some people may,
Have multiple customers come in.
there's a possibility of that. I mean, say if somebody has to go to work and they can't pick up till noon, but I will be the only one working, so I will know what time people are coming and going, so I know if somebody's coming at 10 o'clock to pick up, then I will have nobody else dropping off at that time or scheduled to pick up at that time. I can control that fairly well, I think, from my angle. And like I said, some dogs, there's maybe 3 dogs in there at one time, so I'd be possibly taking a different dog to start in the end process of that, so you can kind of just keep it moving. Otherwise, you have time to where you won't be making any money.
And what do you do with the other dogs? Do you have
There's kennel, there's cage, it's cage banks. Yeah, so everybody's individual, nobody can interact with each other unless they're a family that wants their dog to interact.
And do you have a dog as well?
Yeah, I have a Jack Russell Chihuahua and a Chihuahua.
Oh boy. Okay.
2
Yeah,
troublemakers.
I think really, I think this can operate well. I think my only concern is having multiple dogs in the house at once, and that potentially just causing kind of some disruption in
Sure.
the neighborhood. So I was originally going to kind of propose, including having fencing, and then and Eric can work with you on that. I know we pulled that up. Do we think she'd be able to put fencing with where the property lines and setbacks are at?
Yeah, she'll be fine.
She'll
She'll
be
be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing too, just to add a little bit, Barking Barber, right?
Right.
So she's been on Summit and Lima all this time in a little space that doesn't have any outdoor space, and she's made it, and I haven't heard of any accidents with dogs getting loose and
Yeah.
right there on that busy intersection. So
Yeah.
just a little side note.
Yeah, but you said you were comfortable with a fence. You said you would kind of like a fence, right?
I haven't been interested in a fence, just for my own
Yeah.
not for the dog grooming business necessarily, but for my own fencing would be nice.
Yeah, and I probably can go either way on the fence. I think it would just be better if you are going to have to let them out, but I understand you're not really wanting to, and I think ideally I wouldn't want the dogs, running around the back
Right.
too much. So
It's
that
just
could
not-
also send kind of the wrong signal of like, hey, you're going to let them all be hanging out outside,
Right.
and that would be more disruptive in my opinion. But I was thinking of kind of putting a limitation of how many dogs on property. Now my number has to go up a lot with your 3 dogs, but that. So I would say probably like max 6 dogs on property at any given time. I just feel like that again provides some assurances to the neighborhood that you're not almost starting to run a kennel operation. So I think that would make me feel more comfortable.
Yeah,
but
and I won't have dogs overnight, nothing like that. And the entire time I've been working, that's only happened to me twice. And once I kept the dog, and the other time it was a truck driver. He got stuck in bad weather.
and I am with the limitation. I am fine moving the hours of operation up to 8 a.m.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the maximum number of dogs is more important than the fence. So
I agree.
I'd be supportive of that, making a motion to approve the conditional use with the requirements for hours of operation between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., schedule appointments with gaps in between so parking does not become an issue, and then having a maximum number of dogs in the house at 6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Was there anyone else here that wanted to speak?
sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, it's
For or
good
against?
timing.
As for or against the item? You were coached ahead of time. All right, hearing no further discussion. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Mr. Trombley?
Aye.
Ms. Schroeder?
Aye.
Mayor Mehren?
Aye. And as a reminder, as they did state, if we start to have issues or complaints, a conditional use is revocable.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, good luck.
And on the fence then, am I going to talk to you about?
Yeah, you'll just, if you get time, call up to zoning, and we'll make an arrangement to meet at your house, and we'll
Okay.
figure out what we need to do there.
Sure thing.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I'm missing a page. I was going to say, sometimes I rip things out, so. All right. Item number 3, application for conditional use CU-07-2024 filed by Richard Benner to split the parcel at 515 Prospect Street and create 2 duplexes. CPC staff comments.
So this request is located on the east side of Prospect Street, stretching east to North Blanchard Street. The parcel is zoned R3 small lot residential. It is in a neighborhood of R3 small lot residential, and this location is partly located within the 100-year floodplain. Parcel history: this site is currently vacant, and Mr. Benner purchased this lot from the city in April of 2024. Staff analysis: the applicant has indicated they intend to split the parcel at 515 Prospect to create 2 lots with a duplex on each. Bill Rooney actually stopped by on, I believe, Monday, and I reviewed it for the zoning and gave it approval from our standpoint. So I believe he's in the process of getting that recorded. This would create 2 lots measuring 43.90 feet by 98.37 feet in size. They have provided a drawing to show that they can get a 75-foot by 26-foot duplex on site. This would provide 2 units measuring 75 square feet in size, which is above the minimum floor space required for a residential unit. The structure would meet the lot coverage requirements as it is under 50% of the site. Parking would be provided along the alleyway, but they have accounted for 4 10-foot by 22-foot off-street parking spots. Since the proposed duplex is in the floodplain, the applicant will need to work with the city floodplain administrator, Eric Adkins, to receive proper permits. So staff recommendation, CPC staff recommends approval of the application for conditional use CU dash, this should be 07, 2024, filed by Richard Benner to split the parcel at 515 Prospect Street and create 2 duplexes with the following condition. Receive floodplain approval from the city floodplain administrator.
Very good. Engineering does not have anything that, my papers are all out of order. No comment. He's so quiet today. Fire prevention.
No comment.
No comment. Very good. So the recommendation before the commission is the staff recommends approval of the application for conditional use CU-07-2024 filed by Richard Benner to split the parcel at 515 Prospect Street and create 2 duplexes with the following condition. Receive floodplain approval from the city planning administrator. Mr. Benner, I believe you're here. Can you speak on this item?
Can I speak on the item? Yeah, the lot we purchased off of the city, we're just proposing 2 duplexes is all I've got to say.
You've learned less is more sometimes,
Less
right?
Less is more.
Yeah.
And just a quick update. So Van Horn has created a new drawing, which actually scooches the buildings closer to the street to get 14 feet of separation between the back of the duplex and the property line. And they still meet setbacks.
So just to be clear, there are no, with this lot split, once it's in place, there's gonna be no variances required for either one of these, they need, okay.
Correct.
Did we hear anything from any of the neighbors? Okay. Yeah, I think, I think this will be good. We need housing. I think this is, an area where these make sense. I think my only concern is just the density and the parking being right along there. Do you know, I guess that is really my only concern, is obviously just making sure that the parking is kind of as far away from the alleyway to give clearances through there, and people aren't side swiping or people trying to get out of the cars being too tight is really my main concern.
What is is it proposed for the parking, is that gonna be paved?
Yes,
It is? Okay.
yes.
Paved and curbed, or just paved?
Just paved. There's no curbs even on Prospect. But I'm working with Dave Hans, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, we're trying to widen the alley to the south. He says he can't do it without the neighbor's permission, but obviously it's not on their property line, but we're trying to get that widened. Because the property line, now that it's been pinned out, is 4 feet out into that alley, which will be some of the parking area. So it only leaves 10 feet. I'm trying to work with him to figure out how to get the alley widened.
Yeah.
And the FEMA floodplain there,
Oh, I see, okay.
we're looking at, me and Eric's looking with Van Horn to get a floodplain pin, and we don't think it's in the flood zone, actually, the floodplain.
You guys proposing fencing along that north line?
No, the neighbors have a fence about halfway, but the rest of it's just open yard.
So, say again about the alley, you wanna widen it to the south? Yep. All the way up to the property line?
Yes, the alley that's there now, does it show it there?
Yep, I can kinda see the.
So the
yep,
property,
Oh, yes. Yeah, the property pins are out into the alley like 4 feet, so the 13-foot alley that was there now, which was very easy to get back and forth, is taking 4 feet out of that. So to come south, there's just the property line. They probably have 3 feet of grass
Yep,
to their
Right.
property line.
you got it,
yeah.
right here.
There,
Yeah, there's 3 feet of grass right there that we need to peel out and stone and blacktop, just to widen it.
Yeah.
Dave says he can't do it, because if we do, then he did it because I built the duplexes. Well, we can't show favorism, but we do need to widen the alley.
Yeah.
If any of you know him, you get on him for me.
Eric, any issues from the floodplain? I'm gonna make sure that we have that covered.
No, if you back out, you can see that this is like the tail end of the 100-year floodplain. So simple elevation certificate from Dan Stone, then a letter of map amendment should remove it. The back end right there. The other side, there's no issue at all. That's going to be well in his front yard. So typically, whenever this happens, the removal only usually happens for the structure and not the property. So in this case, that's what probably more than likely happened, was the property wasn't fully removed. So it should, theoretically.
All right. Anything from the committee? I don't see anybody else in the audience except for Colette. So, Colette, you have any opinions on the? Well, good luck. Hopefully, obviously, I think my only concern is just as you do it, if you think starts to make the neighborhood crowded, you know, maybe evaluate just putting one there. But overall, I think this makes sense. So I will motion to approve conditional use something, I think 07-2024. Yep, conditional use 07-2024 filed by Richard Benner to split the parcel at 515 Prospect and create 2 duplexes with the condition that they receive a floodplain approval from the city floodplain administrator.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
Ms. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mayor Mirren.
Aye.
Mr. Martin.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other items on the agenda, this meeting of the City Planning Commission is adjourned.